Namaste. Thank you so much for joining. As always, please practice according to your conditions and your abilities. Please respect your limitations and think of the practice as an offering. Everybody, to an extent, and everything to an extent, is being affected by you. So practice in that way, in a mindful way, that'll deliver the best experience possible. So let's begin. Let's come, sitting tall and straight, close the eyes, and bring the attention within. Divine attention. Imagine you're becoming one with all beings everywhere. Fix your mind on God alone. May all beings everywhere be happy and free from suffering and enjoy this practice through our senses. May we always have a strong desire for the knowledge that liberates us from pain and suffering. And may we cherish no ill feelings against each other. Only ever peace, love, joy, and compassion. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. To make this practice even more significant, more powerful, and even better than meditation, renounce all the fruits. Do the practice because it must be done for the well-being of all. So we're going to now do the mantra for purification to purify the space, the ground, and all the psychic channels within. If you don't know it, just pretend you're chanting through the voice of the Guru, move your lips, you derive all the benefits as though you're chanting it perfectly. Do it 3 times, each time try to do it in a single breath. Om pavitraha pavitra va sava vashtanga topi va yaha smarit pandrikaksham sabaya bihantrahasji. Om pavitraha pavitra va sawa vashtanga topi va yaha smurit pandrikaksham sabaya bihantrahasji. Om pavitraha pavitra va sawa vashtanga topi va yaha smurit pandrikaksham sabaya bihantrahasji. So now let's do some pranayama. It is through the pranayama that we gain control of the vital force, and when we have that, we have more. It's more likely that we will be more mindful and more in control of our behavior as well. So the comportment, of course, is always important. We try to observe through the ethical rules the idea of being compassionate towards all beings everywhere. So we try to manifest that in everything we do, say, and think. So let's start off first by establishing a deeper connection with the divine essence within. Spiritual breathing. Bring the arms up, palms slightly turned up. From the fingertips, inhale down through the arms, right into the spiritual heart, the best of the best. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold the attention of the breath at the spiritual heart in the center of the chest and the right side of the physical heart. 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, just the breath leaves out through the fingertips. 2, 3, 4. Everything that pulled in stays within. 6, 7, 8. Again, inhale down the direct path to God. Everything you need down into the spiritual heart. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Holding it all in the heart again. Hold the breath and the attention there. Exhale out through the arms. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more time. Inhale down through the arms, the best of the best, right into the spiritual heart. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Holding the spiritual heart as an offering to God who resides there. Exhale out through the arms. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bring the arms down now. Let's do color breathing or sound breathing. This helps to increase your aura, which is your protection, like your force field against psychic attacks, which is negative energy that's directed towards you, whether it's intentional or unintentional. So imagine a great sphere of colors surrounding you, and when we concentrate on certain colors, we amplify the effect of that color. And we bring that color, we direct it into a different different areas of the body. If we bring an intention of healing there, that's where the healing energy will go. So we try to direct it towards us and, of course, to all beings, everything meant to be shared. Let's start at the bottom 3 chakras, located in the root, the sacral area, and the navel. Flood the whole color with red. They're very close together, so we tend to put them all together. So the color red in that area, the sound is ah. Just allow the sound to ride the breath. Inhale. Ah. Leave a little bit of silence after each sound. Even though the sound has disappeared, the vibrations we imagine are still doing their work. Go now, bring the attention to the heart. The color is green. The sound, you, a little bit of a higher pitch this time. Inhale, this is all more towards the back of the body, near the spine. Direct your attention now to the base of the throat. The color is blue. The sound is so. Inhale. So. Next, at the center of the forebrow, the sound is sun, S-U-N. It's also co-located with the pituitary gland, which is the hub of the whole endocrine system. So when we bring our attention there, we stimulate that hub, and we bring health to all the glands in the body. Also, the vibrations produced by especially the latter part of the sound, the N part, imagine those vibrations strong enough to dislodge all the impurities from wherever they're residing in the body, to be brought out into the bloodstream, to be carried out of the body eventually. Take a deep breath in. The color indigo. Sun. Now the crown. The sound is sum, S-U-M. Again, concentrating on the latter part of the sound, it produces vibrations that shake the whole top of the head, the brain. And this helps to promote mental sharpness. Why that's important is that we want to have discernment, a good ability to discern so that we can eventually understand the true nature of our true selves, which is infinite, immutable, stainless. The same essentially as God. So we bring the attention now to the crown. The color is violet. Inhale. Take a moment to observe the state of the body, the mind, and the emotions. Have no attachment to the result. Have no expectation as to what you should or should not observe. Just be the witness. And through the practice of being the witness, we will eventually lose the identification, the attachment to the ego, the body, the mind, and the emotions, none of which are representative of the true self. And through the asana practice, we try to see how God manifests so beautifully and so wonderfully in all the different forms. So it is a way of putting compassion into practice by seeing ourselves, by seeing God in all the forms. And then how could we want to do harm? How could we have any perception of any being except that they are divine beings? So now, let's continue with the asana practice. Let's come to standing. We'll start off first with some warm-ups to prepare the body for the practice. So practice with enthusiasm throughout the practice so as to make the best offering possible. And move the joints with vigor so as to get the blood moving in the joints and to warm up the body. Need to adjust the camera, just get in. Okay, so now let's begin. Just start to swing the arms. Allow the arms to hit the body like heavy ropes. Try to see all the way around you. And then start to pick up the speed a little bit. Keep going faster and faster. And eventually, just shake all the joints in the upper body, the head flying in all directions. Shoulders shaking. And then release. So now the wrists move the wrist fingers very, very rapidly. Feel as though you're trying to shake water off the hands to dry them. Then up and down like the wings of a hummingbird. The fingers are moving so fast that they disappear. They're like a blur. Good, now spin the right arm You can use the left hand to support the shoulder. You can also turn the body with the arm. Go forward now. Left arm. Winding up as though you're preparing to throw a ball. And go forward now. Now both arms up. Try not to think too much about it. It might mess you up. So each time turn to the right, bring your arms down. Each time turn to the left, the arms go up. The arms are spinning in opposite directions. Come back up again. So turn to your left this time. Each time you go to the left, the arms come down. Each time you go to the right, the arms come up. Come back up, take all the opposite elbows, bend to the left, bounce a few times, go to the right, back to the left, try not to make folds in the waist, in the underside of the body, go to the right, go to the left again, and then the right, come back to the center, little circles over the head, starting off small, mostly the head, neck, and shoulders moving up first. Then gradually the circles get larger, the chest and the upper back coming into the movement as well now. And if you're up to do so, perhaps the whole torso spins. Hinge at the hips, allow the forearms to brush across the tops of the feet. And then come back up, go in the opposite direction now. Imagine all beings are experiencing this through you. So again, moving away, that'll be enjoyable, that feels good to you. Larger circles now. And then the whole circle. If you go to a place of pain and suffering and anxiety, all beings, remember, are being affected by that. And then coming back up. Now release the arms. Next one. So tap into your inner child. This is called lion's breath. So it looks like a lion sneezing. The eyes go wide, the tongue hangs out of the mouth. So helps release tension a little bit. Looks like this. So let's go. One more. Come back up. Good. Next one. If you need to, you bring your left hand on the wall and your arms come up to the side. Swing the right leg back and forth. Flex your foot so you don't stub your toes on the ground. The legs feel like a pendulum swinging out of control. Oops. And then the other leg, left leg. Try to get your knees to shoulder, the toes back the head. And then release. The leg comes back down, and then the feet together, arms together, by the sides of the body. Inhale, sweep the arms up. 2, 3, lift up off the heels. 4, 5, 6, and come back down. 2, slowly with control. 4, 5, 6, try not to allow the heels to drop down heavily. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, reach up, exhale back down. 2, 3, keep the leg muscles and the core muscles engaged. Up. 2, 3, push through your toes. 4, 5, 6, exhale back down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more time, up, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold the position, reach up even higher if you can. And back down, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lower the head down, chin on the chest, in a gesture of humbleness. Stay in this humble mindset throughout the practice. the one who is the greatest among us ultimately is a servant. They who exalt themselves will be humbled. They who exalt themselves will be humbled. Those who are humble will eventually be exalted. So let's keep that in mind as we practice. Make the practice an offering. Hands to the heart. Surya Namaskara. Raise your arms up over the head. Arch back. Fold the body down. Bend your knees if you need to. Bring your hands flat on the ground. Chest on the thighs. Right foot back. Lower down the knee. Drop down to the seat. Come into high plank. Lower the knees down. Bring the seat all the way back behind your heels. Glide between your arms. Brush your nose to the ground as you come forward. Take your head back. 2 more times. Take the seat back. Glide between your arms. Pull at the floor like you're trying to pull the floor towards you. This will propel the body forward with more power. Come back again and glide between your arms. Take the shoulders back, keep the back, keep the neck long so the head can go back even more. Adho Mukha Savasana. Lift the seat, allow the head to go down, soften the line in the back. The right foot now comes forward to the hands. If that's difficult, lower the left knee down. If the foot doesn't make it all the way, just use your right hand to push the foot further forward. And then the feet come together, chest on the thighs, Uttanasana. Come right back up to standing. Reach up and back, and then back home, hands to the heart. Go up and back. Don't worry about the breath. Move the body in a way that allows the body to move freely and allow the breath to remain steady and uniform. Into high plank. Down with the knees, the seat goes back. Come forward between your arms. And then 1 more time, or 2 more times, take the seat back. Come forward. Imagine being a body of the serpent. Be regal and wise, fierce and fearless, embody all the qualities as well. Take the seat back 1 more time. 3 times blessed. Those can imitate the forms on all levels. Copy them physically, mentally, and spiritually. Adho Mukha Savasana. Left foot comes forward. So when you move forward, also try to move your shoulders forward over your fingertips so the foot doesn't land with a big heavy thump. Feet together, Uttanasana. Come right up to standing, reach up and back home. Be like a shapeshifter. Move between the forearms gracefully, fluidly. Like you see yourself moving in the dreams, silently as well. Right foot back. Remember, the practice is an offering, so you try to make it as beautiful and magnificent as possible. Knees, chest, forehead down. Come right through between your arms into upward facing dog. Lift your hips and knees away from the ground. And hips, bend the toes under and pulse. Push your shoulders back. Look like a dog howling at the moon here. Back into Adho Mukha Savasana. Lift the seat. And then again, try to get if you're flexible, maybe touch your forehead to the ground. Try to get your head lower than the arms. The belly to your thighs, the chest close to the ground. Look like a dog stretching its back. And then the right foot comes forward to the hands. Feet together, Uttanasana. And right back up. And then always coming back to the source of divine love at the spiritual heart. Reach up and back, the residing place of God. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Left foot goes back into the plank. Knees, chest, and forehead down. Right through into upward facing dog again. Again, pulse. Make as though there are a hinge at the tops of your legs. Push the shoulders back, the chest up. Back into Adho Mukha Savasana. Bounce here a few times as well. Embody the loyalty of the dog to its master. Be loyal also to the intention, to serving others through the practice. And now the left foot comes forward to the hands. Feet together, Uttanasana. Bow down as though in humbleness. Right back up to standing. Hands back to the heart. When you go back, engage the buttocks and the upper back muscles to support you as you lean back. Fold the body down in half, Uttanasana. Right foot back. Good. From here, flatten out the toes. Inhale, lift the arms, lift the torso out of the hips. Drop your seat forward, circle the arms down, allow the head to fall back. Inhale, come up again. Imagine your arms are attached at the hips, pulling everything up and out of the hips a little bit more. 1 more time, come up. Push your seat all the way forward towards front heel And push the lower back up and then lift the heart. Come back into high plank. Ashtanga Namaskara. Right through to upward facing dog. Shoulders go back, telescope the neck out of the shoulders. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Then the right foot goes forward to the hands. Back knee down, drop down to the seat. Inhale, lift up again. Raise your arms up, lengthen the torso, allow the head to go back. Lean away from the front leg. Again, come up. Every posture has a particular consciousness, tap into it. For this one, we're opening ourselves up to divine grace, surrendering to divine service, surrendering to the Lord. And then the feet come together, Uttanasana, a gesture again, a bow down in humbleness. Come all the way up and back. And return home, Pranamasana. Go up and back again. Keep on moving forward in every sense, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Left foot goes back. Inhale, come up. This time turn to the right and continue to circle the arms down. Inhale, come up again. As we turn, we're making a gesture of being open to all experiences, all perspectives. We have something to gain from each and every one. Open up to the right. Come back into high plank. As Dharmaji says, sometimes we think we're 100% right, but in fact we can be 100% wrong in someone else's perspective. Be open to the idea that others have something to offer. Left foot forward, back knee down, drop down to the seat. Inhale, come up. Open up to the left. All knowledge is valuable, especially the knowledge of the true self, what the true self is. Open up to the left. One more time. Come up. Circle to your left. Float the arms down. Looking forward now. Feet together. Uttanasana. Come right up to standing. Reach up and back. Hands back to the heart. Go up and back. This time we add on. Bend your knees, your belly on your thighs. Join your hands behind the back and pull them all the way up off your back. In front of your head, maybe we're in line with your shoulders. And then the right foot goes back into Kapiyasana. Reach up. Take your arms beside the ears, maybe behind the ears. Drop your shoulders down. Crescent moon shape. And then come right back into high plank. You can do other entries this time. Perhaps Chaturanga, coming down in one line from the heels to top of the head, coming above the ground. Push into your hands. Up into upward facing dog. Again, according to your abilities and strength. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Now bring the right leg up, three-legged dog. Step the foot between the hands. Back knee down, drop down to the seat, reach up and back again. Drop your shoulders, look up. And swing your hands behind the back, hold the breath. Left foot comes in to meet the right foot quietly. Uttanasana. Come right up to standing. Salute. And Pranamasana. Go up and back again. Transition between the forms seamlessly, like you're doing a divine dance of devotion and love. Push the body into your legs. Try to get your seat to rise. The heels, the hands come over the head. Try not to touch your body from the thighs. And then the left foot goes back. Kapiyasana. Reach up and back. Lean back away from the leg. And then come right back into high plank. And choose your choice into upward facing dog. If you like, again, Chaturanga, through to upward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Be careful of your joints and your limitations. As always, left leg up. And then bring the foot between the hands. Back knee down. Reach up and back. Kapiyasana. Arch your back. And then come forward. With the belly on your thighs, the head towards the feet, the hands over your shoulders, maybe in front of the head. Come right back up. Hasta Uttanasana. And then always coming back to source of divine love. Infuse all the movements with love and devotion. Reach up and back. Come forward again, belly on your thighs. Push your body into your legs. Send your hands all the way up over your shoulders. Right foot goes back. Back knee down. Kapiyasana. Stay this time. Drop your seat forward. Rock your shoulders back and forth. Try to get your arms back a little bit further. Keep your arms straight. Think of a crescent moon shape. There's no kinks anywhere along that curve. So keep the arms straight. The curve smooth and the toes all the way to the fingertips. Now break the pose. Bring the hands back down.
Come back into high plank. Maybe another entry if you like. Bring your seat all the way back. See if you can make it through without touching your hips and legs to the ground. Push your elbows into sides body. Turn your fingers out. Push the roots of your toes. Upward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Now raise your right leg up. Lift the left heel as well. Push the right foot up even higher. Those who can, touch the forehead to the ground. And see if you can bring your left heel back down to the ground. Stretch your right hip, still looking at the ground. Then pick your head back up. Place your foot roughly where the head was. Lower the seat down. Kapiyasana again. Reach up. Drop your seat forward. Hands in Kali Mudra. That represents Kali, the embodiment of fierceness, transformation, and rebirth. Have a strong desire to evolve. Push your lower back up and in. Now coming forward, hold the breath, swing your hands behind the back without touching your fingers to the ground if possible. The left foot comes in beside the right. Uttanasana. Push your body against your legs. Try to get your whole body flat against your legs. Legs straight eventually. And come right up to standing. Don't worry if you can't. Just do your best. Hands back to the heart. On the path to self-realization, we will have eventually have the opportunity to experience everything. Belly on your thighs. Push your seat all the way up. Hands over your head. Those who can already do it have already done in the past life. So you don't lose anything from the past. You take it with you. So go as far as you can in this life. So you pick up where you left off in the next one. Rock your shoulders back and forth. Drop your seat forward. Arch. Imagine trying to get your fingertips over the back toes. Lift the heart in every sense. Come back into high plank. Perhaps the seat goes all the way back. Pushing through your toes. Pull the elbows into sides of body. And right through into upward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Through constant practice and good determination, adherence to ethical rules, all becomes possible. Left leg comes up. Touch your forehead to the ground if you can. And drop your right heel back down. Feel a stretch in the backs of the legs. Left hip is still looking down again. And now pick up your head. Bring your left foot forward between the hands. Back knee down. Your seat is all the way down towards the front heel, so as to keep the balance. Push your chest up. Take your arms back. Stretch. Set your sights high, also in every sense. And then swing your hands back behind the body. Join them together, open up the palms, bend the wrists, and then push your belly into your thighs. Try to get your chest below the knees, the forehead, if your legs are straight, right against your shins. Come right back up to standing, reach up and back. And then back home, hands to the heart. Good, now we'll do 4 more. This time with a jump back. If you don't want to jump, you can just walk back. When you're jumping back, hold the breath, bend your elbows so that you don't jump back in a big jarring movement. Try to be smooth as possible. So no stopping between each one. Just to build heat. Really raise your arms up, reach back, come down, fold the body in half, plant your hands, hold the breath, jump back, hovering just above the ground, through to upward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Jump your feet forward to your hands, reach up and back. So that's 1. Okay, so now we'll do it all together. 4 more. Reach up and go down. Plant your hands into plank, low plank, upward facing dog, and downward, feet to the hands. Reach up and back, come right back down. Remember, you can walk back if it's too much to jump. Plant your hands. Those who do it with me the first time, of course, you're doing 5. Constant practice. Reach up. Come back down. Hovering just above the ground. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Feet to the hands. Reach up and back. Come down. And conclude. Take a moment, charge the body. Arms by sides of the body. Stand tall in Tadasana, come into mountain consciousness. Tall, steady, quiet, unmovable. From the base of the spine, like the base of the mountain, inhale up to the crown, which is like the summit. Exhale back down to the base of the mountain. Be solid and unshakable through and through in your devotion to serve others. And let's continue. So let's try some ballot sequences now. Starting off, left ankle, standing on your left foot. Raise your right foot up. Take hold of the heel from the inside, thumb behind the heel. Take your arm and out at the same time. Try to have your fingers and toes on the same line. Maybe it looks like a letter T. Maybe higher like a letter Y. If you have the flexibility, push your foot up higher. Look up if you can. Exude the grace and the magnificence and the confidence of a dancer. Good. Now from here, see if you can let go of the foot without dropping your foot. So you have to let go of it slowly, engage, prepare by engaging leg muscles and the core. Let go of the foot slowly. And then bring the foot down, right into gliding eagle. Bend your left knee. Try to get your belly on your thigh, your arms out to the side. Keep your right foot higher than the hip if you can, head about the height of the knee. Imagine you're swooping down from a great height like an eagle. Press into your left foot. Come right back into the previous pose if you can. Move gracefully between the forms, and whatever happens, just dance with it. Be unconcerned, unjudging. Release the foot. Sometimes it's good to challenge yourself. If you never challenge yourself, in 20 years, you'll still be in the same place, doing the same thing as you did today, you are doing today. When you don't make progress, sometimes you lose the enthusiasm. Your left foot now. So again, depending on the flexibility, maybe at the height of the shoulders, maybe higher. Push to the base of the toes, look up if you can. If you flex the foot a little bit, push it with your toes, sometimes it helps with balance. If you're having trouble balancing, just stand your back against the wall or bring your right fingertips on the wall. Now getting ready to let go of the foot. Slowly hold the breath. Keep the leg muscles very tight and engaged. Let go of the foot. And now keep on lowering the leg, but in a controlled manner. Try not to touch the ground in between if you can. And then into the gliding eagle. Imagine you're skimming the surface of the ocean. You realize what you see in your imagination. Try to get your left foot up even higher, point the toes. And then come back up in the previous pose. Take hold of the inside of the heel again. And come back up. And then release. Charge the body. Turn the palms forward. Inhale, imagine you're bringing the best of the best right into the skin, right up the spine to the crown. Exhale, send it everywhere throughout. So let's continue. Go to the back of the mat. Left foot forward. Left fingertips down on the ground. Ardha Chandrasana. Bring the right leg up. If you're having trouble opening, maybe move your hand a little bit further out or use a block if you need to. If it's too much, just come onto your left knee. Open up to the right. Arm eventually comes up, look up at the hand above you. Try to get your foot higher, keep your toes pointed, your fingers together. All the little details to make the pose as beautiful of an offering as possible. Now bring the right hand back down. From here, bend your left knee so you can keep your belly to your side. If you have very tight hamstrings, you can bend your right knee. See if you can get your left hand on your foot, your index finger on the outside of the heel. If you're flexible, your right leg comes up higher. And you move the right hand in close as possible, right beside your foot. Take off all but just the index fingers up off the ground. Eventually, maybe even press your index finger of the right hand along the inside of the heel. Gaze just beyond the toes. Good. Now those who want, bring the right hand down. And from here, you can bend your right leg again, push up to the heel. Let's do a little bit of handstand practice. So push up to the heel of the left foot. Come onto with your toes. Really push into the ground as well with your hands. Turn your fingers just ever so slightly out. Keep your hands under your wrists underneath your shoulders. If you can hold your breath, push into the ground, and lift up through the hips. So a few hops. Again, if you keep your legs bent, sometimes it's easier to find a balance. So just try to practice. Keep coming up. Keep trying. You can come against the wall if you like. Gaze between your hands. If you're doing it on the wall or on a chair, if you can place your foot on the back of the chair, it might be a little bit easier. You might be at the right height, a better height. If you have your foot on a wall, your foot is against. You look at the wall. You bring your foot so that it's about the height of the hip. Okay, so you push off the wall. Just not push off the wall, but you pull your toes away from the wall. So make sure you're close enough to the wall so that your legs are bent so you're not reaching. If you're reaching for the wall, you will stay glued to the wall. Okay, so maybe one more minute or so. I forgot what foot I'm on. So push into the ground, lift up. Keep your legs bent. The more the legs are bent, the easier time you'll have to balance. Push up through the base of the toes. Push through the base of the fingers, the finger pads, and the heels of your palms. Good. Now let's come back up. Charge the body before we go to the other side. Inhale again, bringing the best of the best right up the spine to the crown. Through to the crown. Exhale, send down to all beings everywhere. Try it on the side. I like to do them early in the practice before you before you get too tired. So the right hand comes down, right fingertips down on the ground in front of your foot. Again, not too close, but 14 or 16 inches away. Left leg comes up, left arm comes up. Look at the hand above you. Good. Now bring the left hand back down to the ground. Center your belly over the right thigh. Bend your right knee a little bit so you can keep your belly with your thigh. The right hand comes to your foot. Again, make the modification by bending your leg if you need to. Just try to get your body right against your thigh, your belly on your thigh. And from here, you try to move your right hand in, right beside your foot. Eventually your index finger is the only thing on the ground. Maybe even you can bring your left hand on the foot as well. Gaze is just in front of your toes. Your hip has to be over the heel, otherwise you won't be able to find a balance. And then bring your hand down to the ground. Both hands flat on the ground, under the wrists underneath the shoulders. Again, you can bend your left leg, flex your foot, and just even if you don't lift your foot up off the ground at all, you can lift your heel up. Practice getting your weight over your fingertips, your shoulders over the fingertips. If you feel comfortable, push, press off the toes, and see if you can take a few lifts. So you have to get a little bit soft in your joints a little bit, and then come up. Press through the base of the toes. Push through the hands. Use a wall again if you need to. It's good to practice on both sides. Sometimes you find it's easier on one side than the other. Good. So do whatever you like here. The foot, every time it comes too far away from the hands, walk it in a little bit closer. If you start way back here, you're jumping, you might do too much force and you'll go over, or you'll just get tired after a while. If you're jumping to get high enough, you have to jump quite hard if your feet are far away from your hands. So bring the foot closer to your hands, and then you won't have to jump as much. And let's come back down. Take a moment, just step, bring your hands underneath your heels, step on your palms and pull your heels up at the same time, but at the same time press heavily into your heels into your palms. Bring your belly against your thighs, allow the head to be heavy, push the seat all the way up. And then from here, release. Keep your head heavy as you roll your way up. Turn the palms forward. Inhale, imagine the best coming right into the body, up the spine to the crown. Exhale, send it everywhere throughout. Keep on sharing with all beings. Send it out to all beings. So next, dancer. Let's start off same way with Ardha Chandrasana. Left hand on the ground, right leg up, right arm up. And from here, bend your left knee. Bend your right knee as well. Bring your knee in towards your body. Pull the heel, take hold of the lower leg closer to the ankle and push the foot all the way up and back. Try to get your foot as far away from your seat as possible. If it's again too much, you can come onto your left knee. From here, if you want, you can stay here. So you can take your left hand up off the ground, hold the breath. If you want, you can even press into your left foot and come right up into dancer. If it's too much, you can start upright like this and come into dancer. If you have good flexibility and good balance, take your left hand to your foot and push it all the way up and back behind you. Chest open. Those who have good shoulder mobility, take the foot from the outside, bring the elbow in front, and bring it up. In this version as well. Those of you who know it, go ahead. Eventually your left hand to your foot as well. All beautiful forms. Depending on your experience, go to the one that takes you to the edge of your potential. Break the pose. Try it on the other side now. Right foot in front, right hand down. Lift the left leg, start on Ardha Chandrasana. Make sure your hip is over the heel. And then from here, start to build the pose. Bend the right knee, anchor the right foot down, take your left knee right into your belly. Take hold of the lower leg close to your ankle, and then pull the foot all the way up. Stretch the front of the body from the shoulders all the way to the knees. You feel a nice stretch and elongation. And you can stay here, you can look down. Hip over the heel. Hold your breath, so you can take your right hand up off the ground. You can stay down, even take the right hand to the foot, or even press up. Hold your breath as you're pressing up. Again, you can start upright and come into dancer. Take the right foot to the hand to the foot if you like. Try to have your toes on the same line as your head. Or, again, the option of taking your foot from the outside, elbow in front, and then pull the elbow up. Try not to move the joints in a way that will torque them in a way that the shoulder joint's not meant to go. So follow the natural movement of the joint. Push the foot up higher. Break the pose. Again, I'm giving all sorts of options for those who are comfortable with the variations. Go ahead. Know your limitations. Know your practice. So now charge the body again. Turn the palms forward. Inhale, imagine lights of every color streaming into the body from all around. Right up through the body to the crown. Exhale, feel illuminate from within. Shine and radiate your light outwards. So now standing in the middle of the mat, getting ready to jump your feet apart or step your feet apart. Go to your left foot forward, and then sink down. If you're flexible, try to get your knee over the toes. If you don't have any knee issues, you can do this version. Make sure your knee's not popping in. Keep your knee in line with your two middle toes. Otherwise, you come up as high as you need to. Your front leg, try to get your hip on the same line as your knee eventually. Look over the front hand. Come into the warrior consciousness. Strong and steady. Now from here, bring the right knee down, turn forward, flatten out the toes, Kapyasana again. Push your lower back up and in, send the arms all the way back. Arch your back. If you know the variations, go ahead. You can turn to the right if you like. Slide your hand towards the foot. If you can, take the foot up. Try to get close to your shoulder. You have to lean towards the foot a little bit and squeeze your foot into the crook of the arm, fingers right close to ears. Your forearm is straight up. Then your left hand can come beside your left side of the head, and your hand might find the fingers a little bit more easily. Then push your foot away from your shoulder. Think of a swan's neck. There's no kinks anywhere in that curve, that beautiful curved neck. So soften the joints, the sharpness in the joints. Break the pose, bring the right foot back down. From here, move to the inside, your hand's to the inside, your left foot moves out to the edge of the mat. Lift your knee up a few times and push back and forth. Send your right foot back further and further. And then one more time through the back foot, push out and then lower the knee down. If your hips are low enough, fall onto your right forearm. And then roll back to your left. Your knee should be stay close to the shoulder. Your shin should be vertical. If your knee's falling away from your body or your foot sliding further away out of alignment with your knee, try to get your foot so that this is why you move it out. You keep your shin straight. The more you lengthen, the more the body will come down. When the hips are anchored down, the rest of the body, the pelvis, the belly and the chest and the chin will come down. If you're flexible, bring your chest down. Your left hand can come onto the foot, your elbows out to the side, or left arm goes from the outside underneath your left knee, and then over your back. Join your hands together. Wherever you are in a pose, fix your gaze. Look like a lizard that never blinks, just sunning itself in a warm earth. Be still as possible. And then coming back. So from here, slide your left foot in. Come back upright. From here, turn to the right again. Arms out to the side, Sukha Virabhadrasana. Then drop your left hand down. Your left shoulder stays against the left knee. Right arm up. You can stay here or bring the right hand behind the back. Use the right hand to just roll the left thigh outwards, or drop your left shoulder down. See if you can take your left arm underneath your leg. Join your hands together just beside your hip, not around the seat. Right shoulder goes back. If you can, lift the right knee up off the ground. Push your right side of the seat all the way up so your leg straightens, your head close to the ground. Those you want to try, bring the right foot right beside your left. And then from here, see if you can come up. In Bird of Paradise, those you can, push into your right foot, come up with your left knee, take your left leg up. If you can come up, straighten the leg. Try to keep your leg and your shoulder together, your knee and your shoulder together. If you don't have that pose, you can either just come up like this, maybe even wrap your left arm around the front and then behind. Eventually you can take your hands behind your back. That's still not possible. You can do this pose or ballet pose again. Wherever you are is perfect. Do your best. And then bring the left foot back down. Slide your right foot back, lower the right knee down, come in a box-like shape. You should be able to lift your left foot up easily if it's in the right place. If toes are bent under the right foot, right arm up, go to your left. Push your leg out of the way, your knee and toes are oriented in the same line towards the right. Try to get your armpit on the outside of the left knee. Left hand push into your right, so we don't stay here. We push down firmly into the right hand. At the same time, we bring the body up. Center of the chest comes behind your thumbs, left shoulder goes back, turn the face and chest up. If you can, lift the back knee up off the ground. If you can, also take the bind. Turn more towards your left. Push the fingers against your wrist, or bend your wrist quite as much as you can. Use your left hand to guide your right arm underneath. Left arm then goes over your back. Join your hands together. So you have to keep practicing these little tricks. Eventually they will come with more ease. Push your left shoulder all the way back. Break the pose. Turn back. Come back with your body between your legs. And come all the way back up. So now we're going to go to the right. Turn the right foot forward and lean into it. The right knee over the toes. Make sure again you're not popping inwards. And come to the extent that you can into the Virabhadrasana. Come into the warrior consciousness. Strong, courageous, always steadfast in your duty. Good. Now from here, I can't remember what we did now. So bring the back knee down, drop down to the seat. Kapiyasana. Push your chest all the way up, take your arms all the way back. Try to get your fingertips over the toes. Keep your arms close to the ears. And again, you can stay in this form or move into your other forms. Left hand can slide towards your left foot. Keep your seat nice and low towards the front heel. Take your right foot up. Lean towards the foot. Try to get your toes close to your shoulder and squeeze. Use your arm to squeeze the foot into the inside of the left arm, the crook of the arm. Fingertips come close to your ears. The right hand comes beside your head. Turn your fingers away from you and lock your fingers together. Then push your foot away from your shoulder. Open up your chest. Open up your gaze upwards. Every expression, every pose expresses devotion and love. Now break the pose. Bring the left foot back down. From here, we're going to move with your right foot out to the right. Left knee comes up off the ground and just press back and forth. Push back through the left heel. Try to get your leg to come further back. The more you stretch, the more your body will come close to the ground. Lower the left knee down, flatten out the toes. Again, fall towards your left and then roll back to the right. So again, not like this, nor like this. Keep both sides, your hips anchored down equally. If you're flexible, maybe the hips come down, and when the hips are down, the rest of the body will follow. Again, we take the right arm out. From the outside, circle it underneath the right leg. The left arm can go over your back. Your hips will be down for this one. And take the bind. Every chance you get, come into quietness, come into stillness so the mind can come into a quiet state. Meditate on God. See God in a form. Break the pose, come back out. Coming into Sukha Trikonasana. So the right foot moves in, bend the toes under and back foot. Again, see if you can take your right foot up off the ground. It's a good test to see if it's well placed. Open up to the left and then drop your right hand down on the inside of the foot. Left arm up, push the left shoulder back. Keep the right shoulder against the inside of the knee. You can stay here, take your arm behind the back. You can take your left hand on your thigh, roll it outwards. If you have more flexibility, lower your shoulder just below the line of the knee so that the right arm can go underneath the leg more easily. Left arm behind your back. Catch your wrist or lock your fingers together beside the left hip. Remember, not over the seat, not around the seat. And if you can, lift your knee up. If you can't do it with the bind, you can just do a regular triangle. Your hand on the shin or behind your heel a few inches. So again, do according to your abilities. All is perfect if your intention is always to offer and do your best. Head close to the foot. Keep reaching through the crown. Now, if you can, step your left foot, bring your weight into right foot so you can take your weight up off your left foot and move it forward beside your right. Okay, so now from here, if you want to come up in Bird of Paradise, push into your left foot, hold the breath, and come up. You have to push against the underside of the thigh with your right arm. Keep your knee close to the shoulder. If you up, you can take your leg up. Try to eventually lean to the right, a little left a little bit. Try to get your legs straight up. Okay, if you don't have that pose, take hold of the knee or take hold of your foot with your left hand. Lean forward, so you can take your right arm around the front of the shin and maybe eventually be able to bind your hands. Still not possible? Go into ballet pose again. And then bring the right foot back down. Left foot comes back. Come onto your knee. Parivritta Palshakanasana. Left arm up. Angle the toe of the knee towards the left. So you can take your arm down. The right hand push into your left hand. Do it the other way maybe. So don't stay here. You keep pushing downward. At the same time, the belly comes higher in the thighs, and the chest comes eventually behind your thumbs. Roll the right shoulder all the way back. And then if you want to take a bind, sometimes it's easier with your knee on the ground, but it depends. Everyone has their own tricks. Bend your wrist, push your seat back. Try to get your arm down as low as possible. Try to get your armpit under your outside the knee, your elbow in a space underneath your right leg, and then your hand will slide through a little bit more easily across the front of the body. The right arm goes over your back. Join your hands together and then lift, if you can, the knee up off the ground. You can do this with or without the bind. Push your right shoulder back. Break the pose. So from here, we're coming back to high plank. Okay, lower the left knee down, swing your foot out towards the right. Right knee comes behind it. Your foot comes, actually, I should do it the other way. So your right knee comes down first underneath your belly. Your foot comes out to your left knee comes behind it, right against it. Slide your foot out towards the right and sit between your heels. If you can't do this and get both sides of your hips down, just sit on your heels, just like this. The right arm comes up, take your left hand to your elbow, push it all the way up and back behind your head. The hand comes down the center of the back. And then you can use your left hand to, if you can, to come up the back and join your hands behind the heart. Push into lower back, lean back, drop your shoulders down. Keep pulling your hands down the back, but don't let the body fall back down into your hips. So if you're doing the full pose, make sure that you're not sitting on your feet. Your knees one on top of the other. Try to have your elbow right behind the center of the head, not out to the side. Break the pose, shake it out. Take your hands in front, either sides of the knees. If you're doing the full pose, lift your seat and then start to turn towards the left. Your hands start to come walk in front of you, stay in front of your feet at all times, just spinning on place, on the same place. Spin around on your feet until you're facing forward again. Your left knee is on top this time when you sit. Otherwise, if your legs just stay on your heels, and just stay there. The left arm comes up now. Take your elbow up with your right hand and push it all the way back behind your head, anchored in place with the back of the head. And you can stay there or take the right arm up the back and join your hands together. No pain, no strain, no going again to a place of suffering and anxiety. That will bring the mind to a place of just where I can't find stillness. It's all just thinking about the discomfort, the pain. Don't go to that place. Remember what you're offering. And then release. Eventually you want to take that out into everything we do, not just on the mat, but everything we do, say, and think. Just keep thinking that it is affecting all beings to an extent, so then become more mindful. Now come into plank. Vasisthasana. Stand on your left hand first, turn to the right, spin on your feet. If it's too much, if you're trying to drop into your shoulder, your hips are starting to sag, lower your left knee down. Make sure it's under in the same line as your hip, not like this. This is still hard on the joint. Okay, so stay here. Come back to plank. Go to the other side. The right hand a little bit from the shoulder. Keep your right arm fully extended. Come back to plank. Perhaps this time we do it again. This time if you have a variation, go ahead. So maybe go on your left hand first, come into side plank and stay there. Take the right leg up, float it. Maybe take it onto your thigh, your left thigh, or slide your foot back just alongside the knee. Turn on your left foot. The toes are facing the same line as the rest of the leg. Push your hip all the way up. Imagine trying to get your knee over your foot almost. Inside edge of the foot is down. So you can take your right foot up off the ground. If it comes up easily, take hold of the knee. If you have more flexibility, extend your leg, slide your hand up to the foot. Lock your right hip and your right leg. So your left leg and left hip. Break the pose. Come back in the same way. Keep your hip up, keep your left arm fully extended, come back to plank. Go on the other hand now. Turn to your left. As you make the transition, keep your hip high. Sometimes I actually like to start in downward facing dog. So your hip is already high, you spin. You start to spin on the foot, you're turning to your left. Your toes now in the same line as the rest of your leg. Not turn too much, otherwise you'll flip out of the pose more easily. Push the inside edge of the foot down. Keep your hip all the way up so you can take your left foot up off the ground. Your weight is on your right hand and right foot. Eventually you'll be able to take your knee and hold it, or slide your hand up to the foot. Push your hip all the way up. See yourself in the pose. Break the pose. Come back into plank. From here, drop your knees down. Child's pose. Breathe in. Breathe out all fatigue. Relax everything. Roll your way up. Now time for the king of the postures, headstand. If you know how to do it, go ahead. You don't have to wait. If you don't know how to do it, there's a few options. You can start with your feet on a actually start with hair pose if you need it. If you don't want to have your feet leave the ground, your chest on your thighs to start. Just lift your seat up. Try to get your hips over your knees. You come right on the top of the head, maybe towards the back of the head. If it's too much pressure, feels way too uncomfortable, just move your head a little bit further forward so you're on the top of the head as opposed to the back of the head. If you can bring your hands down. So again, move your fingers back in line with your knees, your seat on the heels, and press your seat up. Lift your seat. Your hands should be in front of you, not beside your head. I personally like to turn my hands around so the fingers facing away, come into finger stand, heels are up off the heels and palms up off the ground. Walk your feet all the way close to your fingers. Lift your seat as much as you can by lifting heels and just push just underneath your knees against your elbows. You have lots of strength in your fingertips. Hold the breath so you can pull your toes from one foot away from the ground, then bend your toes away from the ground on the other foot. Eventually you might be able to come up. If you feel uncomfortable on your fingertips, just have your hands flap again, not beside your head, in front where you can see them, and the arms like a right angle. Okay, so your hands and your head form a triangle. Eventually you can take 1 foot back, 1 foot forward. You can stay with your hands like this or move your hands out beyond the edge of the mat, your fingers far away from you. Big, big, big triangle. Then you have more chance to open up, and then you can get your one leg back, further back behind you. Your chest is open, your back tends to stay straighter, your hip can come a little bit closer to being in line with your shoulders when you put your foot back behind you. And peel your toes away from the ground. Eventually, if you keep pushing through the foot that's behind you, you'll eventually get your feet up off in the same line as your hips. This is one of the easiest ways to balance. If it's too much pressure for the head, come onto your forearms. Do it against the wall if you like to as well. So those of you who are in headstand, still close your eyes. Bring your attention to the space between the eyebrows. Be still. Come into lotus if you have a lotus, or do whatever you want. Work on your variations. Otherwise, your seat at the base of the chair or the wall, your seat's on your heels, so you're close to the wall. Your elbows underneath your shoulders. Make sure you can take hold of the outer arms easily. Then don't move your elbows. Move your hands in front. Interlace your fingers. Place your head in front of your hands. And when you lift your seat, your head will roll into your hands. 1 foot on the seat of the chair on the wall at the height of the hip. 1 foot behind you. Again, push into your forearms when you're starting quite a bit. So you can pull your toes away from the wall. This is why you want to be close to the wall. If you're reaching for the wall again, you're too far. So keep as close to the wall so that you can take your toes up off the wall and then just place your toes back if you need to on the wall. Your elbows should be no more than shoulder width apart. If you should be able to hug the side of your head with your heels, your palms. Be nice and still. Eventually you'll be able to come all the way up. Again, if you have your legs straight, or notice wherever you are, bring your attention to the space between the eyebrows. Hold the pose for a little bit longer. The longer you stay in the pose, the more that you have the chance to come merge with the form, merge with God. Take your time on your descent. You can just come back down into child's pose. Those who are more advanced can land your legs back onto your arms for crow pose before coming down. Or if you have a lotus even, you can, for more advanced practitioners, so you can land your lotus on your backs, your arms, your upper arms. So curl down, your shins land right on top of the upper arms, close to the shoulders as possible. Then tuck the tail, squeeze your feet in towards your belly, hold your breath, and lift your head. And straighten your arms again. That's if you have a lotus. Otherwise, you can just land your shins on your arms for crow pose, or you just come down in child's pose. Either way, all is perfect. All the movements done with control. Forehead down now, child's pose. Breathe in, breathe out. Slide your arms in front and slide forward between your arms into Cobra, Adho Mukha Savasana. Bring your feet to the hands. Come into a squat, shoulders back, tuck the tail, lift your heels up if you can. Try to get your hips about the height of the knees, shoulders back. Every time you lean forward, try to move your shoulders back like you're trying to slide down your back with your back against the wall. Lift your heels up as high as you can. Your legs start to shake, be unconcerned. It's the body that's feeling it, not you, not the true you. Lower your seat down right behind your heels, tuck your chin in, and smoothly roll back into cloud pose. Push into your arms, your legs come up, and once your seat comes up high enough, bring your hands onto your back. Come back into shoulders, into plow pose to start. So if it's too much, you can stay here with your shoulders on your knees, your seat behind your shoulders. If it's still too much, your legs can just be straight up, heels in line with your hips. Even bring your legs against the wall if you like. Or, if you can, try to get your shoulders over your hips over your shoulders. Join your hands together behind your back. Try to move your arms closer in towards one another. Elbows close together. Place your hands on your back. And then come up, shoulder stand. Feet up. You try to get your hands up your back as high as possible. Your heels, your palms close to your upper back as much as possible so you can get higher. Allow the legs, the veins of the legs to rest. If you have a lotus, do it now. Full lotus, not just a half lotus. Make sure you can do a full lotus, otherwise keep your legs straight. If you want in your lotus, you can also take your hands to your thighs, push your knees up higher than your hips. Take your attention to the space between your eyebrows. Picture an Om symbol there, however you want to picture it. Keep your mind fixed on that symbol. See it in your mind. Imagine and hear it humming the sound Om. Imagine, feel the vibrations. The Om represents God, infinite, immutable, stainless. Slowly come to the next pose, which is either plow if your legs are straight. If you have a lotus, bring your lotus against your body. If you can take the bind, you can go ahead to wrap your arms around your legs, join your hands underneath your seat. Your knees come beside your head on either side of the head. In plow pose, you can have your legs straight, or Karnapidasana with your knees on either side of the head, maybe eventually your knees on the ground. Go with and keep concentrating, keep your mind fixed on that Om symbol. The vibrations, the sound, and the color, and the shape. Practice one pointedness of mind. Now take your hands behind your back, palms down, thumb tips touching, index fingers touching if you can. But as you bring your seat down, your hands might be able to come closer. Keep your legs, your thighs with your chest, with your body as long as possible as you're coming down. Eventually your seat will land on your wrist. Keep lowering your legs until they're halfway down and then stop. Once they're there, about 45 degrees from the ground, lift your back up off the ground. Move your elbows closer in towards one behind the back. Lift the chest. The top of the head comes down. If it's too much, bring your feet all the way down to the ground. Fish pose. Breathe very fast in the nose like a sniffing dog. Now keep your head where it is. Place your feet close to your seat. Edge of the feet in line with your hips. Bring your hands on either side of the head. If it's too much, we're going to do Urdhva Dhanurasana. If it's too much, do bridge pose. Otherwise, fingers behind your head. Spread equally on either side of the head. Lift your seat. Bring your head closer in towards your feet and then turn your hands around. Fingers now facing towards the heels. Slightly turned out. Equally spread. And if you can, take your head up off the ground. Lift the chest up. Push your chest forward. Rock back and forth a few times. Stretch the body. Stretch the legs and the arms until they're straight. If you're more advanced, you can do whatever you want here. You can try to lift one arm. You can try to lift one leg. Of course, you do it on each side. Stay up a little bit longer. If you're in bridge pose, your shoulders, your arms are pressing to the ground. Try to get your knees behind your toes, so your shins are vertical. Good. One more. Stretch. And then come back down. Take a moment to rest the body. Breathe in. Breathe out. Imagine you fainted. Let go of all fatigue. Learn to relax instantly. Now from here, lift back up to seated position. Any which way you like, come up. From here, Tadasana. Bring the soles of your feet together. Feet are far away from your body, about at least a foot, a few inches, and then interlace your fingers underneath your feet. Index fingers press together. Elbows come in the same line in front. If you're flexible, you can bring your face onto your feet, then go ahead. If your head doesn't touch down, your forehead doesn't come down to your feet, don't worry about it. Keep lengthening. Keep pulling your body forward. Keep stretching out the back. From above, it looks like a six-pointed star. The elbows and the knees are side points. The index fingers press together, and the seat of the base of the spine are the top and bottom points. From the base of the spine, inhale up to the crown. Exhale back down to the base of the spine. Widen across the upper back as well. Come back up. Open up the feet. Take hold of your heels from the inside, your armpits right against your knees, and then see if you can slide down. Try to get your chest lower than, your shoulders lower than the knees. Keep on sliding forward. If you're flexible, you can straighten your legs more. If you're very flexible, take your legs out even wider. So you know your abilities. So again, don't go to a place of pain or suffering. Walk forward. Press your thumbs at the tops of where the legs join onto your hips. Then you find the hinge action. You might be able to come down a little bit further, maybe on the forearms, maybe eventually right onto your belly. So if you're flexible, go ahead. Your hands can come somewhere around the legs. If you're very flexible, take hold of the heels or your toes. Again, take your attention to the movement of the breath from the base of the spine up to the crown and back down to the base of the spine. Make way to come back up. From here, bring your feet in. Kormasana. This time you slide your arms underneath your feet again. Still be on the edge of the mat. Take hold of the outer edge of the feet. See if you can come down further. If your shoulders are already lower than the knees, you can take your arms back behind you. Your legs slide onto your arms, close to your shoulders. If they're closer to your elbows, it's going to be uncomfortable. So bring your legs and feet a little bit closer in if you need to, if you're doing a floor pose. If your elbows are free, you can join your hands over your back. Again, breathe like a tortoise. Slow down the breath from the base of the spine up to the crown. Breathe in, and then breathe back out to the base of the spine. Give your mind something to concentrate on. When you're learning concentration, you have to give the mind something to occupy with. Otherwise, the mind goes everywhere. Break the pose, come back out. So from here, let's do bench pose. Or Pranayama. If you can, you bring your feet straight out in front, slide your feet in a little bit. Pull the shoulders in, fingers should be facing away. And then push your hips up, push your shoulders back, try to get your toes on the ground. If your toes are still not on the ground, move your feet in a little bit, roll the thighs inwards. Try to push your chest up. The reason why you do this is if your toes are up, your hips start to sag and then you start to feel heavy very fast. Too much? Take your feet, heels in line with your knees, backs your knees, and do bench pose. Breathe very fast now. Lower the seat down. Cross your ankles, make your way onto your belly. Just a little bit more back bending. Hands underneath the shoulders, roll the shoulders back. Make your way up. If you need to, you can do Sphinx pose. Your forearms stay on the ground like this. Push your chest forward, anchor down through the hips, be solid through the lower body. Be like the Sphinx that just has stood the test of time over thousands of years, is still there. Take the shoulders back, make sure don't lose your neck. And then you can move your hands closer and closer to the body. Move, shift one side to the other. Try to get your hands close to your hips as possible. Take your shoulders back. Your hips stay on the ground. It's not upward facing dog. If you can come onto your fingertips. Shift to one side, your hand comes right in front of your hips. Press into your fingertips, move your other hand in place. Push your back all the way, your head all the way up, open up your legs, and take your feet up, point your toes. You might be able to eventually touch your toes to the head. Imagine you're squeezing socks behind your knees. Once your toes find the head, you can lower your heels, the palms back down. Break the pose. Come down. Rest. Fold down the hands. Sometimes it's good to hold the poses longer, otherwise, again, you don't have a chance to merge with the form. You don't have time to meditate in a pose. Eventually, you're going to be able to meditate in all the poses. Bend your legs up. You can do Cobra again or Dhanurasana. Take a strap or hold your pant legs if you can't reach your feet. Take a strap or a wheel. If you can hold your ankles, go ahead. Even just take one ankle at a time, and you can do it from here. Okay, so just again, do according to your abilities. Eventually, with one foot, you might be able to take your other foot up easily. And then pull on the legs, try to get your feet up higher. Open up the chest, so you can get legs up higher. If you want, you can rock back and forth. You might be able to come all the way back onto your knees. Stretch. Look up. Eventually you'll be able to see your toes. Try not to have your feet too far apart. So not way out here. Try to keep your knees about no more than hip width apart. Eventually you can bring your feet together. Lower out the pose. Breathe in. And breathe out. Sit up now. Final twist. Keep your legs straight. Left hand on the outside of the right shin, right hand behind the back. Push your lower back up and in. Turn to the right. If you have a twist, you can do another twist. You can bring your right foot across the outside of the left leg if you like, and push your lower back up and in. Your left arm comes to the outside of the right thigh, left thigh. Sorry, the right thigh. Left arm comes to the outside of the right thigh. Push your lower back up and in. Try not to lean back. Keep your head over your hips. Same line. Move your chest all the way to the right. Pull on the leg. Come back. Go the other way now. Left foot across the other side of the right leg. The right arm comes the outside of the left thigh. Look over your left shoulder. Otherwise, keep your legs straight. Make sure your feet stay together. The heels are together. If one's behind the other, push the foot that's behind forward to meet the other one. Keep both sides of your seat down. Anchor down to the sit bones. Break the pose, lie down on the back for Shavasana. Make your way down softly, and then just allow the body to rest for a few moments. Allow everything to just relax. Feel as though all the muscles dissolved. Sink everything into the ground. Make your way into a state that is completely receptive. Be receptive to all the fruits of the practice coming now. And they come even in greater, fuller force as a result of you offering up your practice, your efforts, your love. And if you stay in this benevolent state with all these generous intentions, these selfless intentions, it all comes back to you in a positive way. It's the law of karma. And then you remain in an enthusiastic state to continue. Adherence to ethical rules generates enthusiasm for the practice because you see the good results and how it benefits others. Ultimately, we are all connected, we are all one, we are all divine manifestations. Everything comes from the infinite, everything comes from the Lord, everything comes from God. And of course, this has to continue in your day-to-day lives as well, not only on the mat. Continue to serve others through good actions, thoughts, and words. So now make your way back to seated position. We'll close with Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Instill the peace within, send out to all beings everywhere. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be receptive to the grace of God. All is within. Namaste. I invite you to do more Shavasana since that was not very long, so in order to allow the benefits to further integrate. So hope to see you soon. Much love and namaste. See you soon.